Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. From the last episode, a lot of friends reached out and asked me questions about details cooking with sous vide, how it works, and how to cook with it. So today, I'm going to go start to finish, cooking steaks in the sous vide and finishing them on the grill. First, we're going to fill the container with enough water to make sure the steaks are completely submerged. We're going to set this to the temperature we want. I like to set it between 129 and 130. So I have some room when I'm searing it to still keep it medium rare. You can also set the temperature from the app on your phone. Once that comes up to temperature, I'll add the steaks in. I got the ANOVA, the lid, and the container separately. I'll post links to everything in the description. Now that the sous vide immersion circulator has reached 130 degrees, we're going to go ahead and add the steaks to the water. You can use Ziploc bags or vacuum sealed bags. Make sure you take out as much air as possible. For this cook, we'll be going 130 degrees for 2 hours. I'll be back once it's done. So as you can see, the sous vide is finished. We've reached our final temperature of 130 degrees. So what we're going to do now is take everything out, dry it, and then get it ready to be seared. Alright, so now that this is finished, take out the bags.
So how'd you know it was done?
Great question, Kamado Mike.
He always has great questions.
Yes, he does. That's why he's on the channel.
Mm-hmm.
So, based on the thickness and the type of steak, there's a table I can link in the description with the set times. So in this case, because we're over an inch thick, the New York strip steak, to get to 130 degrees, we set it at 2 hours. And that way the internal temperature will be a perfect 130 degrees.
So if it was 130 for like, if it got to 130 and it was only in there for like 20 minutes, so you're just going based off time?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based off of time, meat, and thickness. So the key with sous vide cooking is to make sure we get the meat as dry as possible. Alright, next we're going to open the bags and completely pat them dry. Alright, so now this step is very important. Once you take the meat out of the bags, you want to make sure you dry each piece thoroughly. So what we're going to do is we're going to dry each side as much as we can. And then we're going to put it in the fridge for about 10 minutes. And what that does is by cooling it on a rack just like this, it's going to dry it some more and help us get a really good sear.
Small rack.
Got 2 of them.
2 racks?
Yeah, racks on racks.
What cut of meat is this?
So this is, great question.
Uh-huh.
So this is a,
I just realized we seared those picanhas and we didn't even touch it. I want to make it clear, guest A is so mad that Kamado Mike is in the picture because he has a propane grill, a gas grill, whatever. We named him guest A because he's just a guest, but if he wants, we can elevate him to propane cuckoo. That's the most you're going to get though, propane.
alright, so still drying. It's very important you dry it as much as you can. It takes a lot more heat energy from the grill to dry moisture than it does to sear the surface.
So all you did before you put it in the vacuum bag was salt it?
Yeah,
So you're going to...
so now, before I put them on the grill, I'm going to use a new rub I got.
Rub, uh-huh.
Yeah. So, we're going to put Hardcore Carnivore Black. Not sponsored, by the way.
Not sponsored.
Not sponsored.
But click on the link below if you want.
I'll put a link in the description.
Sounds pretty hardcore. You can put it on one of the 2 racks.
Yep. Did I ever say what kind of steaks these were? So we have here, we got these from Costco.
Guess A, up.
So this is a USDA Prime sirloin. And then we have USDA Prime New York strip steaks. If you check out my previous video on how to save money by getting the loin and cutting these yourself at home, that's how I prepared these. And then I salted them, I vacuum sealed them, and then threw them in the freezer until they were ready to be used. And then you just thaw them overnight in the refrigerator. Or if you're short on time, you can put them in the sous vide, set it to the lowest temperature. Throw some ice cubes in the sous vide container with the water and run it for about 30 minutes and you'll thaw it. All right, now that we have these all in the rack, I'm gonna put them in the fridge for 10 minutes and then we'll be right back. All right, so 10 minutes have passed. All right, now that we've dried our steaks here, all right, so now I'll put this rub on here. You want to get the rub all over the table and then a little bit on the steaks.
You want some rub with that table? Can I try some? When you're done. You're probably gonna like fast forward this part, right?
Oh yeah, you said less laughing, sorry. Now we're gonna go to the grill and sear these steaks on the soapstone.
Sear these suckers.
I'm gonna sear the table. And it's gonna kill me.
This is the best table in the world.
Look at that. Now we're gonna set up the grill here. Get the soapstone on. You want to make sure you have something underneath the soapstone to support it. Okay. I'm gonna let the temperature come up so we can get a nice sear on our sous vide steaks. Gonna open this wide open. Open that. All right, so we're at 800 degrees. Got the soapstone. I'm gonna burp the grill here, which just means opening it slowly so that you don't get a flashback. And then you can see the grates are red hot, but we're gonna go on the soapstone. Can you set a timer for a minute, please? We're gonna leave these on for a minute on each side.
Does it matter if the dome's open or closed?
When I'm searing, I like to leave the dome open. All right, time to flip. Oh yeah, look at that crust. What do you think, Kamada Mike?
I think it looks absolutely fantastic.
Not bad for a sous vide steak, huh?
I mean, I'm more of a reverse sear guy, but sous vide's not bad too.
Oh.
It's good for like people with propane grills and stuff. Like guest A. that is hot. Hot, hot, hot. I'm about a foot away from the grill and it's about to burn me.
Alright,
What
now
was this reading, Commander?
it's about 800 degrees on the soapstone.
Can you sear the sides now?
Yeah. I want to make sure you get it all around. Now we've got the New York strip steaks. So I put it on the soapstone instead of the grate, because if you just put it on the grate, you're only making contact with the thin metal pieces versus having the whole surface of the steak making contact with the soapstone. And you get a sear. You see how it's like Maillard reaction? If I put it on the grate, I'll get the grill line, but I won't get a nice even sear. See this here?
Yeah.
Soapstone gives you a nice crust. I want to make sure you sear the sides. Cook the fat here.
It's a good shot. Shot.
So we've got here our New York strip and our sirloin. Let's cut into the New York strip here. And then now let's cut into our sirloin. Perfect medium rare. You hear that crust come out of Mike?
I sure do.
All right. Now it's time to taste them. Welcome back. So just to recap here, what we did is we put the steaks in the sous vide, 130 degrees, and then we left them in there for about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then I got the grill up to between 600 and 800 degrees. The soapstone was about 800 degrees. Seared it for a minute on each side, and now here we are. Gentlemen, guest A.
Do me the honor, guest A.
All right. Let's see. Let's go with which? Which one is this again?
The New York strip.
New York strip.
Ooh, got a one biter.
Mm.
Describe it for our viewers.
See, he did one bite, so I think, nah, I'm gonna cut it.
Wow.
I haven't had sirloin since Outback, so this is good. Good, very good.
Wow.
Such a tender piece of meat.
Mm,
Very good. Wow.
that's amazing. Let's cut a piece right here. The strip.
Yeah. Cheers.
Mm.
The sear is really good. Has this
Well,
smoky.
let me see. That was, it just cut like butter. Let's see here. Keep going, guest A.
The smoky taste, but
Mm-hmm. Okay.
super soft in the center. You know, like very tender.
This is more tender.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree.
This has more of a steaky taste. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Well, sirloin is a leaner cut. You can see the intramuscular fat on the New York strip.
I mean, I used that word today too, so I hear you. I'm gonna go with the strip today.
We're not really picking a winner here. This video is just describing what you can do with sous vide.
Everything's about winners and losers. This is a winner, that's a loser. But the loser is actually really good today. So it's not really a loser, but relative.
I think you need to explain that more. How
You
is
say-
someone a
if you
good
say-
loser?
If you say relative, it's a blanket for anything. You don't have to say anything after that.
So this is my first time having sous vide. Sous vide? Did I pronounce it right?
Sous vide.
That's how we say it. And the French, we say
Sous vide.
suivi par Hardcore Carnival. Et,
Okay. Not sponsored. Not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but go ahead and click that link in the description.
Yeah, you're gonna want some.
Very good.
What, you were going to say something, guest A?
This is my first time having sous vide
Mhm.
steak. I don't know if it's a common practice to cook it with sous vide, maybe at restaurants or steakhouses.
It's not.
It's
In
not.
restaurants,
No.
it's not.
So
It's not very common.
I think with the
To
sous
answer your
vide,
question, it's not very common.
the sous vide
Is
is
it common?
very tender. It makes it very the meat on the interior meat makes it very tender, very smooth. If I can use that word for meat, but it's just very smooth taste, and then the char on the outside has that perfect crisp to it. So I mean, I'm very.
Have you cooked reverse sear before?
I have not. No,
Hmm.
no, I've never done. I'm
You guys are
kind
really
of
tall next to me, like two towers.
So great work. Really,
Thank you.
this is good.
Thank you.
I think it's great. I think I like the flavor of the strip more.
Again, we're not competing.
I mean, you
we're not
have
trying
two
to
different
figure out
ones
which
in
one's
front of
better.
me, so
Mhm.
I'm gonna compare them.
Sure.
You know,
So, explain the crust to me. Since you're such a hardcore
carnivore.
reverse sear fan, how is this crust for a sous vide steak?
Yeah, so I don't think really the crust has anything to do with sous vide versus reverse sear. I think that's mainly for internal. So when it comes to the crust, I think you're comparing soapstone versus the grates, right? Is that what you're?
So, you think this is a good crust?
I think it's a good crust. I do want to see it one without the hardcore carnivore. If you want me to be quite frank,
Yeah, frank. Please be
you
frank.
know, my name's not Frank.
No,
just
no,
come
be
out of
frank.
Mike.
Right
But
now,
I'm being
you're frank. Yeah.
So I think it's good. I do hear the crunch, but I do want to see the color without the seasoning next. You said a word out there that caught my attention. The Maillard reaction.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
I'm thirsty.
Cheers.
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 And cut.